Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to Who'd Win and Why. And this time we got a battle of the two goblins. We got Green Goblin going up against Hobgoblin. No, wait, no, that's not right. Green Goblin versus Demogoblin, the Demon Goblin. So anyway, before I move on, I just want to say a quick little happy birthday to Lucas Green. He suggested this fight for his birthday, and I particularly planned it to air on this day, which is October 23rd, if you're watching it the day of. So Lucas Green, happy birthday. I really hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope everyone else enjoys it just as much as he does. I'm probably not going to make this birthday thing like a long-running thing, you know. It's just that this guy, Lucas Green, he's helped me out with a lot of information. He's done a lot of research for me. There have been other people that have done research for me in the past as well, but this guy's really been a big contributor to this stuff, so I just thought, you know what, I might as well do something nice for once. No, I'm joking. But anyway, so yeah, let's get on with this episode. Green Goblin versus Demogoblin. So, who would win and why? Let's find out. So first I'm going to talk about Green Goblin. Now, I know I've had Green Goblin on the show many times before. I've had him on the show 3 times in the past. But you know what? I'm just going to go over pretty much all of it again just because, you know, that's what I do. In case you're new, hi. Nice to meet you. In case you're new, you know, I just want to make sure I go over everything again. There might be some things you don't know about Green Goblin that I'm about to say, so let's get on with it. So when it comes to strength, obviously Green Goblin has around the same strength as Spider-Man. I believe he has been said to be a bit lower than 10 tons, which is about what Spider-Man is, but still it's roughly the same amount of strength that he can, he has the same amount of strength as Spider-Man, roughly. When it comes to speed and durability, again, roughly the same amount because it's superhuman speed, superhuman durability. He can basically take Spider-Man's punches with little effort. Part of that is because of his chainmail tunic, which he uses to further increase his durability and to help take Spider-Man's punches and anything else that he would dish out. When it comes to intelligence, obviously Norman Osborn, even before he took the Goblin Serum, is an incredible genius. When he took the Goblin Serum, which was supposed to obviously enhance his physical attributes, it made him insane and also made him smarter, but even before that, he was extremely smart. He's gifted in many academics, but he's also a great strategist. Some of this comes from preparation and planning, but the point is he's fought Spider-Man. He's like the arch enemy of Spider-Man. He's fought Spider-Man for so long and has had a lot of experience doing so. So, you know, obviously he's extremely smart and he's extremely good when it comes to strategy. Again, some of it takes preparation and planning, but regardless, he's still an amazing strategist and someone that you don't want to have to face in a battle. What else about Green Goblin? Obviously, he is extremely plentiful when it comes to his bag of tricks. He has obviously pumpkin bombs, razor sharp bats, also I believe other types of throwing bats. He also has his electrical discharges that he can shoot from his fingers, from his goblin gloves. These are just to name a few of the stuff that Green Goblin has. I'm sure that if you've seen there are some things I can think of, I just can't remember the exact names right now. You know, he also has smoke, and he has other sort of variants of his pumpkin bombs and stuff like that. He has a lot of stuff that he carries with him. I just can't think of the names right now. If you've seen Green Goblin, you know how much stuff he has. So he's very plentiful when it comes to his bag of tricks and everything that he has with him. So his goblin bombs can't hurt Spider-Man, though generally, at least from the Spider-Man movie, I'm sure this is roughly the same with the comics as well. The pumpkin bombs have been able to pretty much kill a normal human, and so that proves how powerful they are, and they're able to hurt Spider-Man, whose durability level is pretty high. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. What else about the Green Goblin? So I mentioned the finger lasers. Yeah, I mentioned the smarts. So yeah, that's really the only thing I haven't said about the Green Goblin is his suit and his glider. So his suit has a gas mask, a built-in gas mask in his suit, and like I said, he does have a chainmail tunic to help him with the durability side of things, because even though he does have a high level of durability, it's not so high, not to obviously the level of the Hulk or anything, but you guys get what I'm saying. He just uses it to boost up his durability level. He also has a glider which can go at about speeds of 90 miles per hour, which is actually kind of fascinating to me, because I'm thinking, why would you have a glider that can go 90 miles per hour if you on foot can catch up to Spider-Man, who can run at 200 miles per hour, over twice as much as that? That part is always I've been thinking about that for a really long time, and to me it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's not the point. Moving on. So the Goblin Glider can go up to speeds of 90 miles per hour and can go a very high distance in the air. So that's basically what he uses for travel, but he can also use it as The Goblin Glider, I believe, also has like an autopilot mode and like a voice activation thing. I believe that's what it has. And you know, I believe it can support like 400 pounds, which is pretty impressive when you think about like how much weight that actually is. What else? So he also is very good when it comes to unarmed combat. He is a fairly good fighter, though generally what he likes to do is resort to his weapons and his gadgets. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's still just something that he you know, it means that he does not really like to go into combat like fist to fist and like fighting style to fighting style like immediately, but he can certainly do that if he really wants to. So that's really all I have to say about Green Goblin. Like I said, he's had a lot of experience. He's been in the comics like forever. He wasn't the first villain that Spider-Man fought, but he's certainly been the one that's had the most lasting impact, and he is the arch nemesis of Spider-Man. You gotta love that. So now let's move on to Demogoblin. Now I know what you guys are gonna be saying. You know, like, oh, you already did a battle like of two goblins. You know, like Green Goblin versus Hobgoblin, and you know, like you made a spoiler alert for that fight. You already made Green Goblin win. Yes, I did, because I personally think that Green Goblin would beat Hobgoblin. If you want to figure out why, and you still haven't gotten to that video, you can see that later. But Demogoblin is actually very different from the other goblins. There are some similarities, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of similarities, but there are also many differences that Demogoblin has. So I'm not too familiar with his backstory, I'll just tell you everything that I know. So Demogoblin his real name is Jason Macendale Jr., and this guy's actually the fourth Hobgoblin. I believe that there are like 5 Hobgoblins, maybe even more, from what I can name right now. I know the first one is Roger Kingsley. I can't remember the name of the second one. The third one was Ned Leeds. The fourth one is Jason Macendale Jr. And the fifth one, I believe, is Phil Urich. That's what I think it is. So there have been a lot of Hobgoblins. This is the fourth one. So anyway, he was a Hobgoblin before he became Demogoblin. He also has another name, which is Jack-O-Lantern. And actually, 2 battles from now, you're actually going to see that fight. Green Goblin he's coming right back, going up against Jack-O-Lantern. So you're going to be able to see that fight sooner or later. Yeah, so be aware of that. That's coming. But yeah, this is Jason Macendale. What happened is that after losing to Spider-Man as the Hobgoblin so many times, he actually followed, like, I think some demons back to their lair. I don't know how he did that, but that's what he did. And he wanted more power, so he wanted to, like, I believe, like, exchange his soul for more power, but the demon actually ended up possessing him anyway, which did give him the power he craved. Sometimes I believe it's like Jason Macendale's in control of his powers, sometimes the demon is in control of the powers, sometimes like the demon like completely splits off into like its own thing. Personally, I'm going to use Jason Macendale in control just because I don't want to say it's like more fair, but what I want to say is that like if I wasn't to do that, it's almost could be like that the demon was like possessing anyone, and I don't want that to be the case. I want you guys to know that this is Jason Macendale fighting, and I want to just make it more interesting because Jason Macendale does have some things to bring to the table, like by himself. So moving on to what he can do. So physically, like when it comes to like athletics and stuff like that, Demogoblin is pretty much on par with all the other goblins. He can lift about 10 tons roughly. Again, he's like at the same speed as around like the other goblins, like Green Goblin and Hobgoblin. Same with like agility. Oh, by the way, you know, like Green Goblin obviously, like going back to Green Goblin for a second, he obviously does have superhuman agility and superhuman stamina. I didn't really feel I need to mention that, but you guys probably already knew that. But Demogoblin has all of that stuff as well. The main thing that Demogoblin has that's different from Green Goblin is actually the level of durability. This guy's durability is actually pretty high. It's even higher than Green Goblin's with the chainmail tunic on. This guy can survive like trauma and heavy blows and like stuff like that would generally kill a normal human with ease, and this guy can pretty much like survive it like almost like it was nothing. That is an extremely high level of durability and probably stamina as well. He can keep going for several hours before, like he can exert himself at the fullest for like several hours before he starts to feel tired. That's a crazy level of durability and stamina. What else? So when it comes to what Demogoblin actually has with him, he, I believe, has used magic in the past to actually like replicate all of Green Goblin's weapons and gadgets. I'm not sure if it was actually like literally all of them, like one by one, but he at least has the essentials. Like he has the pumpkin bombs, he has the razor sharp bats, he has the smoke, he has like all the variants and stuff like that. He has at the very least most of what Green Goblin and Hobgoblin have. When it comes to the glider, this glider I believe is actually fiery. I'm just trying to imagine that like a fiery glider, and it can actually shoot blasts from like the glider can shoot fiery blasts at his enemies, which which is actually really cool. The glider, I believe, can go a bit faster than Green Goblin's glider. It can go around the same speed as Hobgoblin's glider, which is 110 miles per hour. I think I got all of that right, maybe not, but you guys get what I'm saying, 110 miles per hour. That's a bit faster than Green Goblin's glider and all the other gliders, but whatever. What else about Hobgoblin? Hobgoblin also does have some other abilities. I believe he can shoot fiery blasts out of his hands, like using magic, which is almost gonna like replace the finger laser stuff. Like not on purpose, obviously, but you guys know what I mean. What else about Demogoblin? He also has like limited telepathy, I believe. He's able to communicate with and actually like track down other people using his telepathy, which means he could actually like put voices inside your head and get inside your head. Obviously, it's limited. It's not to like the full extent that like maybe Raven could do or anything like that, but it's still something that he has, and it is still something that he is willing to use. What else? There is another big thing that because Jason McIndale is in control, Jason McIndale actually has a high level of military training, which actually puts him at a higher level of fighting skill than any other goblin, and can even match Spider-Man. And remember, this is the Spider-Man that can go toe-to-toe with even the most advanced masters of combat because of his Way of the Spider technique. So if we're talking about a guy that can actually match him, or at least close to match him in a fight, wow, that's a high level of military training. So also Jason McIndale, he's not the smartest, but then again, if we were using the demon's also not the smartest, but Jason McIndale does have a lot of experience. He's been Hobgoblin, and I believe I'm not sure, he was also Jack-o'-lantern. I'm not sure if he was Jack-o'-lantern before he was Demogoblin. I think he might have been, I think I might have read that somewhere, but don't quote me on that, because I might be wrong. But the point is, he still has a fairly high level of experience fighting Spider-Man, and just fighting in general. He is, he's a guy that fights a lot because he has had a lot of aliases, a lot of identities that he's gone under. So I guess that's really all I have to say about Demogoblin. It obviously is a shorter analysis portion because some of it is the same with the Green Goblin, some of it is different. But now going on to who I think would win. Now obviously being a Goblin versus Goblin fight, this is a fairly close fight, kind of like Green Goblin going up against Hobgoblin. It is a fairly close fight, and you just have to think about what are the slight things that are different about these two characters. And I'm sorry to say it, but Green Goblin, you've lost your winning streak. I'm giving this to Demogoblin. And I know what some of you are going to say. I know that some of you are already on your keyboard. You're going to be typing, well, you know what, Green Goblin has so much more experience or whatever. He's been around so much longer. That's shit. I'm like, guys, that's not the only thing that decides a win. I'm sorry, but it's not. You have to, because, like, let's say Spider-Man has been around, like, this is just hypothetical. Spider-Man's been around 50 years longer than the Hulk. Like, yeah, that's cool and stuff, but, you know, the Hulk is still, much more powerful and is still gonna end him quicker. And you know, Spider-Man doesn't stand that much a chance against the Hulk when it comes to, like, a battle to the death. So you guys know what I mean. You know, even though Demogoblin did come after Green Goblin, much after, that doesn't decide everything. It does give a big portion to the fight, but it doesn't decide literally everything. So let me just talk about, how athletically they are identical. Like I said, they are very identical to each other. It's just that durability that the Demogoblin has. This doesn't matter if the demon is in control or if Jason is in control. The level of durability that this guy has is crazy. It really is crazy. This guy can survive things that would kill an ordinary human, and even the Green Goblin, even with his chainmail tunic, I'm not even sure if he'd be able to do that. Like we're talking things that are like far beyond something that a human can survive, and I'm not even sure if like this is something that's I'm not sure how it compares to maybe what Spider-Man and Green Goblin can survive, but I'm still thinking at the very least it's a bit higher than what they can survive, just based on from what I've read and from what I've gathered. What else about Demogoblin? So another thing is that you have to think about the versatility level of these two. Both of these characters have gliders, both of these characters have gadgets, and both of these characters have their other things that they might have with them. You know, like Norman Osborn has smarts and Demogoblin has magic. But when you really think about it, you have to think about what is more plentiful and what is just more useful, and I just have to give that to Demogoblin. First, when we're comparing the gliders, Demogoblin's glider is not only faster, which obviously couldn't hurt, but it can also shoot fiery blasts at its opponents, as well as Demogoblin, but still, you get my point. And there may have been some times, don't quote me on this because I could be completely wrong, but there may have been some times where Green Goblin has modified his glider to shoot stuff out of it or whatever, but if he has, it obviously hasn't been like as that hasn't been as ongoing as when he hasn't had that, if that makes any sense. So, you know, obviously, Demogoblin's glider not only is faster, but it also does something. It's better for air combat, much better than Green Goblin's would be. At least that's what it would be in my opinion. Another part, when it comes to the weapons, some people might be saying, well, Green Goblin has more weapons. And you know what? Maybe he does, because maybe Demogoblin hasn't used his magic to actually, to replicate every single one. And you know what? That's believable. I can believe that. But I also believe that if Green Goblin did have a higher level of weapons, like a higher number of weapons, it wouldn't be by that much. And remember that both of these characters, like, Green Goblin can run out of weapons, but Demogoblin can, like, literally use magic to maybe make up more weapons on the fly. That's much more plentiful than what Green Goblin has. And that's actually something I just thought of at the top of my head. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, but when you factor in everything else that these two characters have, like Green Goblin has finger lasers and he has his mind. Demogoblin has fiery blast that he can shoot out, and he has his magic. When you really think about it, you just have to think about what each character can do, and I just think Demogoblin takes it, and here's why. When it comes to the Fiery Blast and Finger Lasers, these two are probably on par. I would say the Fiery Blasts are probably a bit more powerful, like when you just look at the scaling between these two and what they have done in the past. But, you know, that's not really the point that I'm trying to get across, is the magic. Because, like I said, Demogoblin can use his magic to just keep getting more weapons. But not only that, he can also use it with, remember, like I said, like some form of telepathy. He can get inside Norman's head, which can actually somewhat take out the whole smarts thing. You know, like when Norman Osborn might be strategizing, there's Demogoblin who's using it to like mess with his head. He could like get inside his head, and not to mention that Norman Osborn also usually needs prep time in order to do like his big strategies, which is something that he would need to fool Spider-Man. And that's just something that Jason Macendale could probably get past. The big thing is that obviously Green Goblin has more experience than Jason Macendale, even when Jason Macendale has been Hobgoblin or maybe even Jack-O-Lantern. Again, I'm still not sure about that, if that came before or after Demogoblin. Green Goblin has still been introduced in the comics much earlier, and he still has more experience overall. But regardless, and that would mean that he would know what Demogoblin's going to dish out. But at the same time, Demogoblin would know that possibly even better, considering that he knows that their arsenals are identical, because he specifically created it to match Green Goblin. I'm not sure if you guys like understood that, if that makes any sense at all. But my point is that just with the whole magic, he has more stuff going for him. Demogoblin, and another thing that I just want to mention is the fighting skill. If this was the Demon versus Green Goblin, like not Jason Macendale, fighting skill would definitely go to Green Goblin. He has more experience actually like with formal combat training. But Jason Macendale's level of training is much, much higher than Green Goblin's. He has like he can actually like fight Spider-Man in a hand-to-hand combat, which Green Goblin has done in the past, but like Demogoblin has been more formidable when it comes to that. He's been able to actually like trip up Spider-Man multiple times. His level of combat experience is just much higher than Norman Osborn's. At least that's what it is in my opinion, though I believe it has been kind of confirmed that, but whatever. My point is just with the level of durability, with his telepathy and what he can do to mess with Green Goblin's head, and just with the whole with the glider and like the versatility that I feel that Demogoblin has, I personally think that Demogoblin will win the fight. You guys don't have to agree with me. If you think that like Green Goblin will win, please tell me in the comments below. I do want to say one thing though. If this was the Demon versus Green Goblin, this would be actually a much closer fight. And some of you might be thinking, well, how does that work? Well, it's because that, like, remember, the Demon doesn't have as much experience, like nearly as much experience that Jason Macendale has, and he doesn't have the hand-to-hand combat that Jason Macendale has. Plus, I've heard that the Demon doesn't actually like to use his Fiery Blast as much as the weapons, but that might be wrong, I don't really know. But the point is, if this was the Demon, this would be a much closer fight, and I might have even given it to Green Goblin, but just simply because I'm using Jason Macendale, that's what I believe tips it over the edge. So, in my opinion, the winner is Demogoblin. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a like, comment down below comment down below, like, everything, like, if you enjoyed the episode, if I got something wrong, if I, like, missed something in the information, and also who you think should fight in the Christmas season, which is the next season that I have. I'm still taking suggestions, so please tell me in the comments below what you'd like to see for that. Also, like, tell me who you think would win and why and stuff and all that stuff. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that'd be so great. That would really help me out. I do versus matches like these pretty regularly, and I always want to make sure that you guys, like, have your say. You know, like, what do you want to see me do next? Obviously, next is going to be the Christmas season, but after that, I'm getting back into, like, regular seasons. So you guys just look out for that. That's coming. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Another thing I just want to say at the very end of this episode is that my episodes will be coming out at a shorter, like, a longer. There will be, like, longer gaps in between the episodes, just because I've been getting more and more busy. I should probably even be doing homework right now. But you know, my point is, I've been getting pretty busy, and you know, if there's, like, bigger spaces in between, just know that that's because I am busy, and there's no way that this season is going to end before Halloween comes, so this will have to overlap a bit, but you know what, I'm fine with that. It's still in, like, the Halloween time, so yeah, I just wanted to say that so you guys aren't left, so you guys are in the know about what's going on. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. You know, Demogoblin wins, that's just my opinion, but again, I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and next time on Who'd Win and Why, we got Black Mask going up against Red Skull. See you then.